Okay. Nom, 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 nom. Okay. So I don't know if I should do this. I was watching. I think we watched it together yesterday. Um, watching. What's his name? Inductica. Where is Inductica? Let's just write Inductica. A hypothesis.
Internal processes of matter, for example, whatever process of change that gives rise to the emission of photons by the electron, spectrographic emissions. That is probably caused by some kind of internal process within the electron waviness. Okay, these processes are slowed by an ether wind.
Over. Okay.
Internal processes of matter, for example, whatever process of change that gives rise to the emission of photons by the electron, spectrographic emissions. That is probably caused by some kind of internal process within the electron waviness. Okay, these processes are slowed by an ether wind blowing through.
You're saying that the waviness of the electron creates electromagnetic waves? I don't think so. An electron is a wave, but it's an electron wave. And the electromagnetic wave is when an electron moves and vibrates. It creates vibrations that we call electromagnetic or photons.
The object.
I'm not sure what he meant by that. Okay. So there is an ether wind. You don't need the ether wind. You need an ether fluid. It's not good to say wind. The ether is a full-fledged fluid. It's incompressible. Otherwise, you don't get gravity. You get issues with gravity. It doesn't really work. We'll demonstrate that. So what is he saying? Let me just start over.
Change that gives rise to the emission. Internal processes of matter, for example, whatever process of change that gives rise to the emission of photons by the electron, spectrographic emissions. That is probably caused by some kind of internal process within the electron.
No. Why would you say that? If a proton vibrates, you still get electromagnetic waves.
Waviness, okay? These processes are slowed by an ether wind blowing through.
No. Everything waves in the ether fluid. Everything is a wave in the ether fluid. The only thing in the universe that is real, that is what we call any form of matter, any elementary particle whatsoever, is the ether. Every boson, every fermion, every electron, proton, quark, gluon, these are all different types of waves in the fluid of the ether, in the ether fluid. These are just different, I think these are just different types of waves, because the only reality is the ether.
The object. Why? Here is a crude but powerful hypothesis.
Again.
Spectrographic emissions.
Spectrographic emissions? Like light, visible light?
That is probably caused by some kind of internal process within the electron waviness.
No, it's if you vibrate, if you cause a vibration, what we call an electromagnetic vibration. If you cause an electric vibration, it will cause a secondary magnetic vibration, which is just an electric vibration. So these vibrations can be caused either by electrons or protons. And the protons, the way they cause... Yes. Oh, Ryuk, I'm doing physics. What's up?
So we're still on veganism.
It's just a trap. It's just my way of getting people to come and debate. But
Like a spider's web.
yeah, but I'm mostly interested in attracting vegans. I'm mostly
Yeah, but
interested.
how successful are you in that?
It's difficult to measure because to deprogram someone takes a long time. You got to give it time. And
So remind me, what was it that you hate about vegans? Like, you call
it
them evil
it
for
doesn't
what was the
matter.
reason?
I don't hate vegans. It's not the point. I just want to extract. I just want to deprogram. I just want to deprogram people. That's
Okay,
for me. That's fun.
I
And
see, I see.
yeah, so it's fun to
So you
deprogram.
deprogram like the things they believe, because I guess you believe a lot of people are hold beliefs and things that aren't really aligned with truth.
I wouldn't say truth. I would say with what I believe is truth. You know, I don't want
Okay,
to.
yeah,
Yeah,
with what you believe is truth.
yeah, and
Okay, we can talk about something else then. I mean,
whatever.
like,
Hmm.
how about, I don't know if this is like an over discussed topic, but Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, like, what do you think about this agreed ceasefire deal?
It's actually very good. Um, but the problem is that there is no vision. No one has a vision of the Middle East except for me. I haven't heard anyone. Yeah,
Okay, tell me your vision. You mean like all these people? They only like thinking on the short term. They're not thinking long term.
they're not even thinking in the short term. I guess it's short term is the Israelis want to get the hostages, and
Right. Yeah.
and the Gazans want to release their hostages, but the Gazans are aiming for the next round of violence, and the Israelis.
Well, when you say you say the Gazans, you mean Hamas or
No,
the other groups as too? Other groups.
it's. I would say
You
it's the.
include the people. You're including the people, just the people in general. There.
Look, I don't know the stats. I honestly don't know the stats. Look, Hamas. That's like that's like calling Trump a Republican. Like Trump was elected by the American people. There's no point after he's elected, he's no longer a Republican. Now he is
Based,
what?
based. Now he's the president of the United States, the people's champ. Based.
You're saying based? Your audio is bad.
No, it's not. Your audio is bad. You just have a shitty speaker. Based.
Okay, let's not get derailed. Anyway, continue what you were saying.
No, I'm just letting LMAO know that like I can hear Ryuk very well, but I cannot hear LMAO as well. That's all. Okay, getting LMAO, you gotta fix your mic. I don't know what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Pronounced Lamau, okay? Lamau.
Lamau, I'm sorry. I can
Lamau.
barely. Like you got problems with your audio. I'm sorry.
You can hear me just fine now, can't you?
Not really. Just like through a hose. Like you're
I
speaking.
mean, I can hear you, but the mic quality isn't the best. I have
Yeah,
to agree.
yeah.
Oh, I fixed it.
Good.
I
Okay.
fixed it.
Rio. I mean, Lemio. Oh, he left. Okay. So yeah. So like, there's no point in saying Hamas. Hamas used to be an entity. It used to be a charity organization, turned into a political party, turned into a terroristic, fascistic,
Mhm.
undemocratic, anti-democratic government, murderous, repressive, suppressive. The rest of it.
Sure.
That's collaborating with the Iranians, who are just as terrible, undemocratic, repressive, suppressive,
Yeah.
fascistic.
Sure, but the Hamas are the ones that are they are the authority within inside Gaza. Like, how many of the Palestinians actually support, like, agree with what's been going on?
I don't know. Fine. I mean, but look, you're not gonna say right, when you talk about China, you don't say every time the Chinese Communist Party. When you talk about Iran, you don't talk about the liberation
Okay,
movement.
fine. For simplicity, yeah, let's go. Okay, the Gazans. Okay, what were you going to say about them?
So
We would
yeah,
the peace deal. Yeah,
so they're getting ready for the next round of violence,
yep.
and the Israelis therefore are preparing for the next round of violence as well. You know, defensive slash offensive, and everybody's getting upset at everybody.
See, I mean, the difference here, though, is do you not think that
Mhm.
I would agree with you, the Gazans or Hamas, they are just biding their time so they can prepare for the next round of violence. Whereas I
Mhm.
think Israel hope
Mhm.
it wouldn't have to escalate again to that level. I don't think Israel want to be part of it, but they're going to respond. I mean, if like Hamas do want to initiate another round of violence, Israel have to respond. What can they do? I mean, what do people expect to happen? I don't
So
know. It's like ridiculous.
so if you're a politician and you don't know, you have to say I don't know and resign. You have to do it. You have to be honest. And I would say
Mm,
99.9% of the politicians on the planet don't know what to do with Gaza. But
okay.
some people do know. I know exactly what to do, not just with Gaza, but I can create a very prosperous Middle East. I know how to do it. But
Oh, I think I remember you said it's like like economics.
exactly. If you want prosperity, you have to study economics, right? Prosperity is it's you know it's just economics. It's just, you want all the metrics, all the economic metrics to be very high. Okay. They're called economic metrics because they are a result of the science of economics. You have to be either an expert in economics or identify as an expert, or feel very confident. Like I have zero problem offering my life or success. If in 1 year the Middle East is not flourishing, hang me. Like I'm so confident. I'm exactly 100%
Okay,
confident.
no, let's say it's true. I mean, it's probably true for the regular, normal, like citizens of Gaza. It's probably true. They would like to have a very like thriving, uh, economic like power. Yeah, I think for their own lives, they would care more about that than the obsession of conquering Israel.
Right. This
But
upset.
the problem is though the Hamas are the authority and they are dictating what happens.
Right, but look, that's why I don't want to bring up the Hamas. It confuses the situation. The situation is very, very scientific.
No, but what I'm asking is, do you agree with Israel like trying to get rid of Hamas?
I don't
Like, what
know.
would you do with them? How would you like just before this conflict started? Like how would you
I don't.
convince Hamas
I
to
don't.
throw away the ideology?
That's why I don't define Hamas. I don't define it. It's not a parameter in my equation. I'm a scientist. I don't care how people identify.
Okay, so but how will you like you want to make like Palestine?
I don't
Um.
care. I don't care about self-identification. I look at
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
economic metrics, measurements. I want to make people prosperous. Period.
Okay. So
Mhm.
how would you do that?
So you study economics. That is the first book that created the science of economics was literally called The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, where he studied rigorously why some countries are wealthy, some nations are wealthy, and some nations are poor, and some nations were wealthy, became poor, some were poor, became wealthy, and so on. And
Hmm.
that's literally the beginning, you could say, of the science of economics. That's what we study in economics. That's all we study. That's all we care for. We just want to understand how what is the science of prosperity. That's all. So
weren't they given a lot of money donations to
money,
develop like a
mo-
prosperous
that's
country?
not well. So if you study economics, that's not how you create prosperity.
Well, I mean, wasn't the idea that they tried to build infrastructure, education, like good facilities? Wasn't that the reason they got donated all of that money?
Let's not look, if you want to create prosperity, there's a science. You have to study the
Okay,
science and follow the science, and all your intuitions have to go to the garbage. You have
so
to
how does it begin? How would it begin?
so you literally look at the data. You look at prosperous countries, and you compare it to and you compare and you
You
look at,
try to model a country,
well, first you have to
a prosperous
study.
country.
First you have to realize, okay, which are the countries that I define as prosperous, which are the countries that I define as poor. And then you
Okay,
try to come up with a scientific theory. Why are the wealthy, prosperous countries prosperous? What is the common cause? You, as a scientist, you're looking for a common, single, simple, mechanical cause that creates prosperity. And then you need to look at the poor countries and see that that ingredient is missing in the poor countries. And then you look at, at the rest of the countries, and you have
I
to
see.
find. What?
Yeah, I said I see. I'm following along with what you're saying.
Right. So you have to find a direct correlation. Whatever you found it is that causes prosperity and poverty, that cause has to be exactly 100% correlated to the data. So you believe you found the cause, make 100% sure that you're correct. And, in economics, this one simple mechanical ingredient a long time ago was found.
So wait, so have you identified the problems in Gaza
You don't
and
need
then
to.
the
You don't
potential solutions?
you don't need to find any problem. You don't need to analyze. The analysis has been done. For over 100 years, we've studied economics. We know exactly how to do it. It's a simple and mechanical solution. Very simple.
So it can be applied to anywhere in the world,
Yes.
no matter of
Yes.
the
And
history or the ideology.
correct. Not just in the world.
Okay.
This applies also to alien civilizations. This applies to animals, to amoebas. This applies.
Okay, so if we could apply it now to the Gazan people,
Mhm.
it would be a success,
Right away.
according to your
Within
to you.
seconds, you'll see the success. And within days, you'll see it more. And
Right,
after.
but okay, I mean, I'm not doubting that it's going to be a success, but to everybody
Mhm.
inside, or to all the Gazans, there's people who have lost entire families. Do you think they're going to forget about what's happened
No, no,
just
no
because
one.
their country's now like thriving
No,
economically? Do you think they're
no,
going to forget?
no one forgets. That's not a parameter in the equation. I honestly, with all due respect, it's not. It's what we call in science. It's orthogonal. It has nothing to do with what I'm trying to accomplish. People are going to
Well, I mean,
remember.
is there a plan in place? Like, say, when Donald Trump he gets in, like in power, I
Mhm.
think when is he in? When is he? Is it? It's very soon. When is he going to be
Tomorrow.
president? Oh, is it tomorrow?
Hmm.
Okay. Do you think like does he have an idea, or people who are working underneath him, like for him,
A
do they
little
have
bit, a
an
little bit,
idea?
because he is a prosperous individual and he surrounded himself with prosperous people. So their instincts are how to create prosperity. They know the secret ingredient. Even if they didn't study economics, they might not know it as clearly as an economist, but they know it well enough. or as,
But I want to know. I want to know how is it going to be applied.
but you don't even know what it is.
Well, I mean, I'm listening to you. What is it?
But
Economic prosperity.
but how to create it? You never asked.
Well, okay. Could you explain then to me?
There's
How
nothing
could
to.
you? How do you create it then?
It's just one word. It's called freedom. You just
Freedom.
freedom. You just need to let it go. People, like each person, you know what's best for yourself. In order for you to experience your best life, if I just let you make your choices, those will always be your optimal choices. Your best life possible.
Okay. What if my freedom of choice leads me to veganism?
Fine. A lot of people choose that. That's fine.
Okay. I see. I feel. I don't know. You're not explaining it like clearly, step by step. It's too vague.
There's no steps. There's just
Okay, no
one.
steps.
There's no
Just
step.
freedom.
Yeah. You just look. People, when you let them go, they naturally do what's best for themselves.
Sure.
So they're going to, you know, and
What I think it's like they naturally do what they think is best for themselves. It might not necessarily be what's best for them.
well, so who's to decide? Like, who knows what's best for you if not you?
It would be the outcome, the result of
W-
your choice.
I don't know what you just said. Like,
So, like, we make a choice. We make choices what we think is best for us, but we would only know after some time. So, well, the outcome of those choices, whether they are good or bad.
yeah, but only you know what's best for you, right? I don't know really
Sure.
what's your favorite ice cream flavor is. I don't know. You might say it's chocolate, but really
Yeah.
you might really in your heart you love vanilla, but you might say chocolate. So no one knows
Sure.
what's best for you. No one can ever know except for you. No one can ever know what's best for
Yeah, but
you.
what I'm saying is, do we even know what's best for us?
Well,
Like with the ice cream analogy, also maybe I've only been exposed to like strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. I've never been exposed to all the other exotic ice creams. How can I really know?
well, that's already what we call an epistemological question. Like, what does it mean to know? So I'm assuming everyone is rational. Everyone
Rational.
knows. I mean, people like, yeah.
I don't. I guess I don't have that much faith in people. I don't. I would assume, from my experience,
Hmm.
the majority are not really rational. Even myself, maybe I'm not always rational. I hope. I mean, like I try to be as rational as possible, but I am a human being, and
Right, but
we do make a lot of decisions based on. But underneath the underlying factor is emotion. I think
we don't
it might
know.
be subtle for some of us.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right? No one can
So
make.
that's you include that into that's rational. That's like you include that into the like rational thinking.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because only you know what's best for you. No one can ever know what's best for you. You might not know everything in the universe, but only you know what you
No,
enjoy.
say you're somebody who has had a lot of experience. You've gone through something similar to me. You're more educated. You've studied. Like
I
you
can
would
offer
probably,
you.
you may know more. You may know more
I
about
can,
what's best for me than I would know
yeah,
because I'm ignorant. Maybe I'm a kid.
but in a sure, we live, but that's why it's important to live in a democracy and to be exposed to flavors of ice cream and to ice cream stores.
Yeah, yeah.
And people tell you, oh, I went to the store and they have this new flavor, they mixed this with that and it came out unbelievable. So there's always new ideas coming on coming online, but in general, right, you want a place to live. Like let's get
I get, maybe I can agree. Okay, I think we all know, or we believe we know what's best for us in that moment. But like say in a year's time, we might change our mind.
right, but you will always be the best source of decision for your
Okay,
well-being. No one can ever
sure.
know. Right, when you taste ice cream, only you know exactly how much
Yep,
you liked it. When you see an apartment, only you know how much you liked it. Only you
yep,
know. Some people like living next to a train station. Some people
yeah.
hate it. Some people love living next to a cemetery. Some people hate it. Every person is his own person. And maybe tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and decide you hate trains after you love them all
See,
your life.
I'm not trying to be difficult here, but is that I think when you ask most people
Mhm.
about why they like or dislike something, they don't never really give you like a detailed answer. It's just because they like it.
I
That's
usually
it.
I usually never ask this question. I don't care.
Oh, that's it.
Like I don't care why you like vanilla or chocolate. I don't care. I mean, I just ask you what's your preference, and that's the end. Like when you go to an ice cream store, you just tell them what you want, and they serve it, and
Okay.
that's it. And if you like it,
You don't think there's any importance? You don't think there's any importance in asking why they like or dislike something?
I don't usually there. It's an
I thought you said at the beginning of this conversation you want to like test. What did you say? You want to break the patterns of thinking or something?
deprogram.
Deprogram.
Hello, bipedal
So
ape.
wouldn't it be important for you to ask further?
I usually look. So if you would ask me how to deprogram a vegan, the answer is
Mm,
to just become friendly. Just show a vegan
okay.
that an anti-vegan can be his best friend. I think this.
That makes no sense.
I can't hear you, bipedal. You gotta fix your mic. Like most people on Discord have
No, I'm,
terrible.
I'm out for a walk. I'm on Bluetooth
Okay.
headset, so I'll just switch from my Bluetooth, getting some exercise in.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, bro. You
Uh,
can't be a friend to me as a vegan, and somehow that changed the logic of my arguments, and then it doesn't make any sense.
mhm.
I think you need to touch some grass if that's what you think.
Wow.
Because
No,
like the
maybe he
entire
means
point
no,
is
no. Wait.
philosophically,
Maybe
intellectually.
he means that would just be the first step.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but you'd have to follow that. You could be friends with anybody. Like, I could be friends with a flat earther. It doesn't mean that, like, that's the first step to me becoming flat earth. If the things that you tout make no fucking sense, they're still going to make no fucking sense whether we're friends or not.
Why?
And I guess it can work both. I guess it can work both ways as well. Like this vegan might have
Yeah,
a impact and influence on you.
Yeah. By
it's highly doubtful.
bipedal. Do you know why you're a vegan?
Very deeply, yeah. I've thought about it for many years, studied it very deeply. I became a vegan trying to disprove veganism, but I just was intellectually honest when I kept losing arguments.
Mhm.
You see, that's what I meant actually. So initially, wait, you wanted to try and disprove veganism, right?
Sure, yeah.
And now you're a vegan yourself.
That's right, yeah. That's usually what
You see
happens
what
to
I
a
mean,
thinking
Mr.
man
Slade?
whenever he goes down and researches something and finds out he's wrong. The honest man who's not fragile can accept those arguments and adopt their lifestyle.
You also open up yourself to being deprogrammed yourself, Mr. Slade.
Sure.
You're not immune from it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I always say if I found a hot chick who told me to be vegan, I would be just as vegan as she wants me to be.
But that's probably why you'll never find a hot chick, because that tells me everything about who you are in your life. You're probably a loser. I mean, not to be mean, but like if that is
No,
what if that's the way you
let's
think
not be
about things,
judgmental.
it says a lot about your character and a weakness overall in your character.
I don't get too caught up in what he said. Like, there's nothing wrong with finding a hot chick.
No. I'm trying to highlight the reason why he doesn't have a hot chick or probably finds it difficult in his life. It's a lack of character, self-discipline, and connection to his own sense of self. I mean, women run away from men like that. Like men like that think it's women that are the problem, right? Or like they think that like somehow it's like this greater dating issue, blah blah blah. They don't realize they themselves are the actual problem. Other men don't have that problem.
I can't disagree with you.
I'm just trying to help him with some self-reflection. Like he just said his own problem.
I like Mr. Slave. I mean, he's a bit. I would
I'm
say
sure he's
different.
likable. I'm sure he's likable,
interesting.
but that doesn't mean he doesn't need to hear these things or someone needs to say it to him.
So, Mr. Slave, do you have a response?
Not really. I mean, I can say a lot, but but what's the point?
Probably isn't one.
Well, I don't know. We're just here to discuss. Like, was there anything Bipedal said that was true? Or you agree with?
I mean, I don't know what to say. Look, Mr. Bipedal. So, what exactly happened? How did you become a vegan? Well, do you remember?
I just explained it. Yeah, I just explained it. I had some arguments brought up to me that I couldn't reconcile, and so I figured there must be something deeper there because I understood there were things that I didn't know. But I figured that those would be answered, and I just wasn't prepared for the arguments. And so I went on a year going down each element from philosophy as it relates to moral ethics, to efficiency as it relates to logistics, environmental impact as it relates to the ecology, and so on and so on. I just went down each of the main elements, even health, evolutionary biology. The more and more I studied on it, the more I got perspective and understood the, like how weak the other side was. And so eventually I caved.
This sounds like the perfect vegan you could have a proper debate with.
What?
I think this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity.
Yeah, as long as he has it in good faith and not delusion.
Yeah, keep it in good faith, yeah.
Like most non-vegans.
So I'm not sure. Okay, so you're saying that it was like an intellectual decision that you really thought it through.
That's right.
So there was one day when you decided to become vegan, or there was a process?
No, it transitioned over time. It happened over time. So it took me about a year to transition, both with exploring and understanding, just learning, but also just changing my own habits, since it's something that was ingrained in me and my culture and nostalgia and all those things. Even once I got to a tipping point in which it made more sense than it didn't, it still took me time to change my own habits to fully eradicate the hypocrisy of what I was already still living in. Like that still took time. And I think the people who can make those like black and white switch, like that's great. More power to them. I think we're a bit more complicated than that. At least I was. And even when I got to a point of switching intellectually, it still took me time to fully transition in my life.
Okay. What was the very first step you took? Do you remember?
Research? Yeah.
No.
Disagreements?
No.
And then research.
No, the very first step you took to become a vegan, to actually change, I guess, your diet or whatever. What was the first
Yeah,
thing?
it's exactly that. Research, education. That was the first step. I had to get educated.
No. What did you change your diet at one point?
You mean like products that I grabbed? Like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, like consumption. What were your consumption?
Yeah, consumption just started to slowly whittle away. So like instead of grabbing like steaks, I would grab some tofu. One thing that helped me a lot in the beginning was a lot of the plant-based meats, just because of the familiarity that was there. I leveraged those a good bit whenever I went to friends' hangouts or barbecues. I would buy those instead.
Okay, hold on. So, but what was the first thing you ever did as a vegan in your consumption habits?
Listen, your question already out the gate is flawed, and I'm trying to understand and explain it to you why it's flawed, right? Mm-hmm. There's not like one first step to me being vegan. It was a gradual transition over a year. Do you understand? So I can't like point to one thing to you. It wasn't like a light switch that you may imagine in your mind. It was a year,
I'm saying
12 months,
wait. I'm saying,
365 days of decisions that
understand.
gradually
I
shaped.
understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm asking, but what was there one day that you remember consciously that you decided, okay, today I'm gonna not grab a steak and instead I'm gonna grab tofu?
No, it was a kind of back and forth thing. There
Mhm.
was even some regression. There was times where I grabbed, like 1 week I would grab more plant-based items than animal-based. There was 1 week where then I grabbed more animal-based items than plant-based. It was a complicated back and forth and gradual shift over time.
How do you
Wait,
explain?
I have
Until
a question.
eventually I got
Actually.
to the
Wait, I
point of
just
no
have a
going
quick
back.
question. I have a quick question. So during this transition,
Yeah.
were you like you said you were researching? Were you educated on like or which products to like swap out, like swap in and swap out for?
Yeah.
Or were you
I
just
started doing
were
that.
you
Yeah.
like winging it?
No. I was doing in conjunction with that, like researching different alternatives, looking up different recipes. Like that's a big thing, right? Is like it wasn't just about the health and nutritional element. I also was looking for like familiarity, things that I would actually enjoy, because that was like probably the biggest misconception. I think a lot of people when they first start to go down that track, they think that they're going to be missing out on so many things. I certainly thought that too. And I thought that even if I accepted all of this, I still wouldn't be happy because I would have felt like I'm missing out on a lot of stuff. So I was kind of experimenting with different recipes, exposing myself to different, textures and flavors, and trying to see if I could. Well, first it started as just like mimicking experience, and then it went from mimicking experience to experimenting with different experiences entirely, and then yeah.
I say I got you. That makes sense.
And then your palate just changes over time. Like it's the human brain just adapts. And now I'm
I
at a
guess
point where I look at
you
those
get
things as like
more.
silly because I don't even miss it.
Yeah, I guess you get more and more familiar with like this new lifestyle.
Well, yeah. There's that, and then also I would say like your mind starts to open, and I realize like not only am I not missing anything, I actually use a lot more different flavors, textures, spices, and ingredients than I ever did when I was in that bubble of just eating, animal-based products. So I stick to the same like 5 products, and then recipes just kind of built around that. Whereas there's a much bigger world I'm more familiar with now.
That sounds interesting. So it sounds like you've opened up your mind rather than limiting. Like
Yeah,
the
correct.
idea of having to limit, you've opened up your mind and your taste buds.
And then of course like
Flavor.
there's all kinds of shifts that happen with that, right? Like so that happens, and then over time you also start to get familiar and kind of used to what it's like cooking like plant-based, and like it almost now, which I never thought would happen, I almost look at it as like gross. Like you get to that point where you get that vegan ick. Like I think of like a slap of pork chops or some nasty bacteria ridden meats. Like I remember when I used to eat meat, like I just how delicate everything was, to avoid like cross contamination with cleaning, and like, things could only sit out for so long, and like the purging consistently in my fridge. And it's like shit that I never have to think about really at all now being plant-based. And it just almost starts to feel even more cleaner. There's like an OCD element that starts to click. And I notice it when I go to friends' houses who aren't vegan, and I'm just like, oh, wow, I remember that. Like, that's gross.
Okay. So, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, the human mind's fascinating, man. Never in my life would I imagine that was the case.
Mr.
But
Slave,
looking back at it now, it's almost like silly.
Mr. Slave, you because I've heard you say a few times you say you hate vegans. So, like, do you want to share with Bipedal?
Maybe I can relate with him. I hate most vegans too, because most vegans aren't like me. They don't talk like me, and I get in arguments with vegans that are probably the SJW cliche type that you're used to, especially in like activist servers or come to places like this where they're just trying to be shocking and they're trying to be moralistic and superior, and they're just trying to like, beat people over the head with that sense of virtue signaling and superiority. I don't like that shit either, and that was exactly who I sought out to try to defeat when I went against veganism. But along the way, I found out that those guys, they're just the activist morons. They're not an actual like over representation of the collective community. Those are just the loudest ones that you see, and so you think that's the community. But when you start digging in and learning yourself, you start realizing why it makes sense outside that crazy, just like stupid SJW talking points.
Mm-hmm. Mhm. Would you say that you that veganism is some sort of compensation mechanism? It
No,
no.
no. Where do you get that from? Are you talking about what I just referenced? You know,
No.
the people that you may have interacted with.
Yeah,
Maybe for some people it is, not for me.
I mean the way you're describing it, like SJWs and activism, it sounds like some sort of a compensation. Like they have
No,
some.
I'm pointing out. I think there are some vegans, especially in those kind of like more extremist circles, that is the case. There is like
Mhm.
probably some kind of cope and compensation. There's
Mhm.
like some moralistic ego. And I think those people they're the loudest and the ones most people I would say interact with when they have an exposure to veganism, but that isn't the vegan community or veganism as a whole. Those are just the loudest ones, and the ones that are the most extreme, and even the ones people like me do not like. It's kind of similar. It's like, imagine, I don't know if you're religious or not, but like, of course, there's like there's like religious zealots that are out there yelling, everyone's burning and going to hell, and
Mhm.
they're on the streets like with megaphones screaming at people these extremist things, advocating for slavery to come back and shit like that. But you wouldn't say that's all of Christianity, right? Like that's just you can recognize those are the extreme zealots that
Mhm.
occupy those spaces in any demographic or group, but they don't represent the whole. That's exactly the same with veganism.
Wait, so do you also like not wear leather gloves and stuff?
Of course. Of course. I mean, I own stuff already that's leather that I purchased before.
Mhm.
But now, I mean, I still have those things.
Mhm.
But, with now when I purchase products, I'm more conscious and I look for wanting to do like leather, plant-based leathers or some kind of
Mhm.
alternative wherever I can. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I look for those things.
Mhm.
But the main thing for me is not just the animal element, it's the
Mhm.
eco-consciousness. So I'm looking for like environmental impact.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gay?
No, I am very straight.
Mhm. Are you religious?
Nope, not religious.
Born religious? Raised religious?
I was raised in the South, hunting culture, Southern Baptist.
Mhm. So you were born. You were raised religious.
Yeah.
Mhm. What? Okay. Would you eat lab-grown meat?
I personally wouldn't. In the same way now for me, though, that I don't even eat the plant-based meats, but that's just because I'm getting away from processed and I'm more focused on the health conscious whole food element. But as far as like what you're getting at deeper, like the philosophical discussion of lab grown meat, I think that is I would champion that as a much better and more viable, sustainable, and ethical alternative than industrial farming. So yeah, I would champion that. I would still then follow that by saying there's better way. I think we should get away from that in the long term anyway, though. Like so like I would champion just moving away from meat in general, but I think that that's a much better, cleaner, environmental and ethical thing that I would champion for people and in the collective over just typical industrial farming.
Why?
Why? To which question?
Why would you be against lab-grown meat? You're saying ultimately move away from that.
I'm not against it. Like I wouldn't advocate against it. I would say I think that's better than I think it's a better alternative. But I would then follow that by saying I think if you could avoid just eating meat altogether, that would still be better.
Why?
Well, for multiple reasons. Again, I think it's still like it depends on the subject you want me to talk about. You want me to talk about health? You want me to talk about moral philosophy? Do you want to talk about environmental impact? Like there's a number of different subjects and any given one I could talk about and why I would, get under the surface of saying that, but it just depends on which one you're interested in.
Yeah, choose. You go ahead. Like, explain to me why we should.
Yeah, so I would just go for the health route. I just don't think meat. So I'll just argue the health one. That's the most practical and I think the most relatable for most people. I don't think it's a very good package to source your nutrients in. It comes with a lot more risk
Mhm.
as a package than just getting it from plants. There's higher carcinogens. There's a
Okay.
much higher rate. Like it's more
Hold on.
expensive to move logistically. There's a lot more salt content, cholesterol. Like it's just it's not an efficient package as far as your health goes.
Right, but people smoke.
Sure, but that has nothing to do with this. I mean, I would say also to people who don't smoke. I mean, it would be better to not smoke than to smoke if we're talking from a health conscious standpoint, right? That's still the same. The same way I would say eating broccoli over eating a chicken breast, I would say that's healthier. So you should do that. Just like not smoking is healthier than smoking, so you should do that.
Okay, why do you say not smoking is healthier than smoking?
Because of the evidence-based impacts that show the effect on our heart, on our cardiovascular system, the quality of life and how that degrades, it increases your risk of cancers, all of these measurable, metrics that I can use that can say, to the best of my knowledge, smoking is more damaging than not smoking. That's simple.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that simple. Same is true of the chicken breast. I again, for the nutrients that are in the chicken, I would take inventory and look at the other foods, the plant-based foods, right? The plants that have those same nutrients. And I would say, if you're looking to get these nutrients to sustain your life and your quality of life, I would then compare them and look at the drawbacks. And I would say this one has higher risk, so it would be better to not eat that.
Okay. Let me ask you. Let's say I have a friend. This actually exists. So she gets cold every time there's roadkill. She gets the roadkill and uses it to make, if it's like a cat, to make fur out of it. If it's a cow, to make leather. She makes goods out of roadkill. Would you buy her products?
No, I personally wouldn't do that because I have alternatives that I wouldn't have to do that. I would agree with you that that's better than like mass farming, to like strip leather and fur coats from animals. So I would say, yeah, what she's doing is better than that, but it's still not better than other alternatives I have that I wouldn't have to do that. Like that's the point. It all comes down to, do I have to do that, or are there better alternatives that champion my values and move us better as a society in a better direction, right? Without the commodification of those animals and the drawbacks that creates ecologically.
No.
So again, I would agree with you. That's better than industrial farming for leather or whatever. But it's not better than not doing it.
Wait. I'm confused. But this is roadkill. This is roadkill.
I mean, yeah, sure.
So
correct.
What's the issue with roadkill?
Again, it's not that there's an issue with roadkill, right? It's just that I wouldn't view that as better than not doing it.
No. Why wouldn't you purchase it? Like, these are good gloves, good shoes.
Because I don't have to.
But what's the issue?
It's not that there's an issue. Again, I keep clarifying that for you. It's not that there's an issue. It's that there's a better alternative to mass produce that I would rather invest in infrastructure on.
What do you mean mass produce?
Plant-based leathers would be better. Again, that's right. We're looking at this collectively.
No,
I'm telling you, just listen. I'm telling you. I'm saying plant-based. Like, again, when I buy something, I'm voting for it, right? I'm delegating money to the continuation of it, the investment in that business, the investment in that infrastructure.
This is roadkill.
No, I understand, but just repeating that doesn't change the argument I'm making. Do you understand?
What's the argument? I didn't hear an argument.
You keep interrupting. I'm literally giving you the very logical based argument. When I trade a commodity for money, I'm investing in that commodity. I'm investing and perpetuating the existence of that business and the investment in that business's scale.
Roadkill.
Yes, correct. Anything. It doesn't matter. Anything that I'm giving money to.
Yeah, roadkill.
But listen, this is not complicated. No, listen. If I would rather give money to a company that's investing in infrastructure that at scale is going to create plant-based leather products, I'd rather invest in that than invest in a bunch of small businesses and them growing themselves to collectively grab up a bunch of roadkill. It's
Why
that
do you
simple.
care? Why do
It's
you
where I
care?
want my dollar going.
Why? Why do you care?
Well, I care because of the broader impacts of it, right? Like I'm thinking deeper than just surface level, right? I'm thinking beyond just the short term of like, yeah, this is a dead end, I'm on the side of the road. I'm thinking in a more robust, deeper, long-term way where that dollar gets allocated, where the infrastructure and the labor is being allocated, because that's the representation of my dollar. Okay, it's that simple. I'm looking at the long-term, deeper impacts of where I'm voting with my dollar and where it's getting allocated and the
Okay.
long-term impacts of that in the future.
Do you mind keeping your answer a little bit shorter? So I don't understand.
I mean, that's pretty short and concise.
No, no, no. Please, no more monologues. Just, I still don't understand. Like,
What are you struggling with? Like, what are you struggling with?
I don't.
What are you confused about?
I
That answer?
don't understand. I mean,
Where don't you understand? Repeat
Like-
back what I just said, and then tell me where you're confused.
let me speak freely. I don't limit you to, to your speech. So please let me speak freely.
I didn't limit you. You're the only one that said anybody. What do you mean? This is a projection. You told me to speak less. I never told you to speak less, and now you're telling me I'm limiting your speech. All I said is you're saying you're
please,
confused.
don't
I
repeat.
thought I articulated myself well.
No, don't repeat.
So just repeat what I said and tell me where you're
No.
confused, so that we can shore up this conversation and find out where to clarify for you. It's that easy. Where are you confused? What did I say that confused you? Tell me exactly what I said and
Let
where
me
you're
speak.
confused and what I said.
Please let me speak. Please look.
Okay, go ahead.
Look, you're hogging the mic. You go into monologues, and then you demand that I repeat what you said. So please stop that. Like, be nice. I'm nice.
I don't really think that's true, man. I think you're just looking to get offended right now, but why don't you just instead just say something? Go ahead. Say something where you're confused, and I'll respond.
Look, I can only repeat myself, I guess, for the third time. I don't understand. Like, you're saying
Okay,
you.
so
Let me
clarify where you
finish.
don't
Let me
understand.
finish, please. Let me finish. So,
Uh-huh.
so you're saying you'd rather invest in one business and not in the other, and I'm not
Correct.
sure why. Like both. Let
Okay.
me finish. Let me finish. Both businesses, as far as you're concerned, are just as good. I mean, they're just as.
No, I just said why they're
Please let
not.
me
You're
finish.
not
Please
listening.
let me finish. Please let me finish. Both businesses,
Okay.
according to you, should be just as ethical, and the rest of
No,
it. Wait. Let me finish. And it's just as environmental and everything. I mean, one business you could
but
invest.
they're not.
Let me please. I did not. Come on, stop.
No, I'm trying. You keep trying to mimic a straw man of my argument. I never said
No.
that. Listen, man, you would understand more if you actually listened to what I said and
No,
responded to
please
what I
don't
actually said.
repeat. Just don't repeat. Don't repeat. Please don't repeat. You've
Okay,
done
you're
it.
not trying to have this argument in good faith, then, man. It's no wonder that you hate vegans, because when you actually
I
get one that's
don't
literally
hate
trying to
vegans.
hand walk with you a
I
logical
don't.
conversation, you're
I
not
don't.
hearing it.
I don't hate vegans. I don't hate vegans.
Okay, so don't strawman me. I would make the argument they are
Don't
not the same,
repeat.
and I just
Don't
gave an
just
exact
don't
reason
repeat.
why they're not the same.
Just don't repeat. Let me talk. You're not letting me finish my thoughts, and you're repeating yourself multiple
Oh my
times.
fucking god!
What do you want me to
Is there anybody else in the room that hears this and sees where he's listening to what I'm saying, repeating the exact opposite of what I'm saying, and then getting mad when I'm trying to clarify his misunderstanding of my exact point?
Yeah, I'm listening. Mr. Slave, he's only just trying to correct you when you say things that he didn't say. He's not.
And then he's getting
doesn't want
offended
to, like,
about it. I don't understand.
He doesn't want to restrict your speech. He just doesn't want to be mischaracterized for something he hasn't said.
I didn't characterize what you said correctly?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's
But-
literally what I said.
Okay.
Again, that's why you're confused. I'm telling you, I
Mhm.
made the exact argument why they're not the same. I said they're not the same.
I didn't say
In
they're
the
the
long
same.
term,
I
I
didn't
don't
say
view
they're
them
the
as the
same.
same. They're
I
not
didn't say-
environmentally the same.
I didn't say they're the same. I didn't say you said they're the
Oh
same.
my god.
Why are you getting upset?
Well, I mean, I have a question. How viable would roadkill really be anyway? How sustainable would it be for the majority of people?
It's not in the long term. I mean, when you have
Yeah,
hundreds of
it would-
millions of
it would-
people, I'd rather invest in larger infrastructure that can meet the demands of hundreds of millions of people. And the only way to do that at scale is with, plant-based leathers. That, I mean, specifically, he's talking about making leather type gloves. Like, why would I invest in roadkill that could not sustainably meet this niche environmentally consciously in the long term for hundreds of millions of people? So that's the entire point. I want my dollar to go towards things at scale would represent those values and be better in the long term. That's the easiest answer.
Let's
Exactly
see,
addresses
let's
this
see
point.
if he understands.
I hope he
Look, I'm
understands. It's pretty
offering.
clear.
Okay, and I can't say that I understand, but you know what can I do?
I don't know how to be any clearer for you, my friend. Pretty straightforward.
Okay. So it's fine. I mean, I honestly don't understand, and you know, it's not the end of the world. I mean, you
Yeah, I
seem,
mean, it's fine.
yeah, you seem like a cool
I
dude.
gave it my best shot.
Yeah. So
I mean,
how?
so do you, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have any ill will toward.
So how long have you been a vegan?
4 years now. Maybe almost 5, actually. Probably close to 5.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of vegans who use terrorism? Like they like
I'm sorry,
oh
vegans who use terrorism?
Yeah, that's a weird question, Doug. I mean, I wouldn't agree with
I
terrorism.
don't like vegans, and I've never heard of a vegan going around bombing people in the name of animals.
Yeah, I mean, there are
terrorism.
probably extremists that do crazy things, but I mean, I wouldn't agree with that. I mean, I'm not a terrorist. I don't think blowing people up or
Slave,
doing
can I
anything like that makes
Terrorism-
sense.
what do you consider terrorism?
Terrorism, I consider terrorizing. Like if your intent is
How?
to yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any examples of when they've terrorized people?
Of course. I mean, most conversations with vegans are, to me, are terrorizing.
Whoa. I mean,
How?
yeah, I'm confused.
Okay, I'll gladly unconfuse you, but we can listen maybe a little bit to the conversation with you. You were a little bit, terrorizing a little bit. Honestly,
I'm terrorized?
a
Do you
What?
mean
little, a
argumentative?
little bit, a little bit,
What?
a little bit, but
Do you mean argumentative?
a little
What
bit.
the fuck?
I didn't say
All right,
argumentative.
look, I'm gonna lend to the intelligence of other people in the room. Have I been terrorizing? I think I've been pretty
a little bit,
No, I
calm,
just joined
pretty
and I'm
concise,
scared. I
a
think we
little
need
logical.
to,
a little
I
bit.
think we need to enact DEFCON 1, you know, it's dangerous. I'm scared of you.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I don't know
Yeah, I
what to
think
tell
we
this
need to
guy.
enact DEFCON
That's wild.
1, you know.
I don't think he's actually looking for conversation. Then if that's the case, because I think I'm genuinely trying to give him good faith. But I think he's just trying to get
was
offended.
joking, by the way, about that thing. But what exactly is it that he said that was terrorizing?
We can listen to it, but I measure.
Could you tell me what he said?
Well, if you let me finish. So the way I measure terrorism is by how.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm a really picky person about this in debates. I'm not asking how you measure something. I'm asking specifically what he said that was terrorizing.
Well,
Do you think you could answer that
you-
question specifically? I don't need the extra stuff.
with all due respect, please let me finish.
Answer my
Alright.
question and I'll let you finish. That's what I'm asking.
You look. So this behavior I consider terroristic.
What
All right,
behavior?
man. Well, you can't have a conversation, a thinking conversation, if that's the manner you conduct it.
Fine. Then that's terrorism. Like you see the
Okay,
way.
I don't know what to tell you.
No,
I don't know. How about we try this? How about we try this? If there's somebody else in the room that is not vegan, that has a question or wants to have like a logical
I'm not
discussion on
vegan.
veganism or has questions, maybe he can hear that and then that could be constructive.
but it's my rule.
I'm just going to ask one last time if you can specifically tell me what he said that was terrorizing.
And I told you, I find the way you're talking to me to be terrorizing. So please stop it.
Okay, how did he talk? Who, me?
Yeah.
You find this terrorizing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever done were you ever in debating club or anything in school?
That's not important.
Were you
Well,
or
I mean,
weren't you?
it is.
Yes or no question?
I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not going to discuss that. Please stop.
I take that as a no, okay, because what I'm asking is I'm talking firmly to get to the information I need. That is the basics in debating. And if you look at any political debate or news debate, that is generally what happens when you're talking to somebody in what can be considered somewhat confrontational manner. You want me to terrorize you would be me barraging you with insults and treating you like absolute crap. And even then, I wouldn't really call it a terrorist attack.
Okay, I do.
I see.
I don't know what to do with that, man. I don't know what to do with that.
So the way my preference for debating is like in a very, very gentleman-like way. If you don't want to be like very
I think we're all being gentlemen here.
fine.
With all due respect, how have I not spoken in a gentleman way?
Like when you're telling me I asked you a yes/no question, that's not nice. For example, or when you're repeating a question, or when you ask personal questions, that's very not gentlemanlike, in my opinion.
As somebody who has done debating and went to a debate club, I disagree wholeheartedly.
Okay. It's my preference, so that's
But
just
with all
my.
due respect, within a debate, it shouldn't just be a one-sided preference. You can feel however you want to feel, but your emotions and feelings shouldn't dictate how the other person debates or converses with you, on the condition that they are still being respectful and not passing any boundaries that have been preset.
Look, so
Yeah.
it's my room. I created it in order to debate.
So you don't want. So you don't want to have the open debate. You want us to just be calm about everything. Is that correct?
Well, that's my preference, yeah.
I mean, we
Okay.
can be calm, and I don't think anybody has been uncalm. So that I don't understand.
Okay, so
I mean, anyways, I don't know. This whole thing is confusing, and it feels like it's wasting my time. Does anybody actually want to have like a
I was
discussion?
going to ask him
Should I
what
jump to
makes.
another room?
Why do you
I'd
think
have a
veganism
discussion
is
with
evil? Who's this guy?
veganism is evil because at the end of the day, most vegans are basically terrorists.
What?
Yeah.
You know that sounds awfully like most black people are criminals, right?
Like, that's wild. How do you even respond to that, like, intelligently? I don't know.
That's just my.
What you're
I
doing.
mean, you're talking to a vegan right now. I don't know, like, how does a person even have like an intellectual discussion with you if that's your premise and the way you conduct yourself? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Let's not get kicked out the VC. Okay. Can you tell me what specifically is evil about veganism? I don't want a generalization, like a generalizing statement. I want specifics, maybe things you've seen, stuff that they've done. I need details so that I can better understand why you think veganism is evil.
Okay, I mean, so yesterday I was debating a vegan, and she, started saying mean things, and
Can I get specifics?
no, I honestly don't remember. Like, mean things.
Well, mean is a very subjective thing.
That's all I need. Look, if I feel uncomfortable, I'm the judge of what is mean. No one else is. So I felt very offended.
With all due respect, the law disagrees with you.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Your feelings and because you're calling people terrorists. I mean, that's a pretty. If you want to be about feelings, that's a pretty mean statement. I mean, how do you feel, ape, bipedal, or whatever you want me to call you, about being called a terrorist? How do you feel about that? About generalizing
Yeah. I mean,
your
I
thing?
could say offended, but like, I'm just so confused. I can't even be offended.
Yeah.
It just doesn't even make sense. Like I feel pity maybe for him because I don't understand, and I don't think he's able to articulate what it is he's even trying to get at. I also don't even know what he's looking for. Like, what is he looking for?
So,
Even creating this.
Mr. Slave,
Mm-hmm.
this is why a lot of the time you don't want to use feelings and stuff, and like very kind of things like that within these sort of debates, because again, everything to do with feelings is a very subjective and personal thing. It doesn't matter when we're talking on the wider aspect on an intellectual level about about the debate. I asked you why you felt like veganism was evil, and you just replied because they're generally most of them are terrorists, and this person said something mean to me. If you want to have an actual debate about the specifics and veganism itself and what makes you get to that point, and not just somebody was mean to me, I'll be happy to do that with you. But you need to be a lot more articulate in the specifics and not just saying it makes me unhappy or I don't feel happy about this specific thing, because it
Okay.
like for example, I'm
No.
not happy about people who don't follow my religion, but I'm
Okay.
not going to say that
Look,
they're all evil because they don't believe what I believe.
Maho, Mayho. Uh, look. So I talk to a lot of people. Like I'm talking to you right now. You're what I would consider like more or less normal for Discord. You know, I
I'm sorry.
probably you didn't understand what I just said.
What do you mean normal for Discord? What's that supposed to
I
mean?
was about to complete the sentence. So, like, I'm sure that if I met you in real life, you would be like an absolutely normal human, and you wouldn't be as offensive as you are on Discord. But on
I pretty much talk exactly like this in
I
my
haven't seen him being
normal life.
offensive. What, like even a shred of a little bit? I mean, if
yeah,
anything, he's being so generous and really understanding towards you.
I pointed out the issues with how he treated me.
No, you. So
He
just
would
for
Yeah.
context, for those who weren't
look. It's
here,
normal.
if
My
somebody
point
joined.
is what?
No, I'm just bringing them up to speed on what you're considering as rude and evil. Is when I asked you a question, and I just said it's a yes or no question.
Right. That's not like it's fine. I'm not judging you. I'm saying you're normal for Discord. I'm not. I'm
But
not
I
saying
talk like this in real
it's
life. This
fine.
isn't just a Discord
It
thing.
doesn't actually matter. The point is, you are more or less what I would consider normal. Bipedal ape also more or less normal for Discord. A little bit offensive. It's fine. But yeah, look, I
You should
talk.
stay off social media if it's easy. It's just
That's
that
not
easy
the
to offend you.
point. Listen to my point. Let me finish. I have a point. You're asking me why I consider veganism to be evil. I'm explaining.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so my experience with vegans compared to basically everyone else is that vegans are much worse. Statistically speaking, they're just much worse.
Can you show me the statistics?
No, I'm telling you my personal experience. Like,
Well, then
Well,
don't say statistics. That's anecdote.
yeah,
So your anecdotal experience.
yeah.
I've had probably
Yes, but anecdotal evidence is something that is irrelevant in most debates. I'm going to be honest with you. It's because I could go and say I've had a terrible experience. I mean, I'm sure
no
Ape could go and say I was talking to this person who was a meat eater the other
no
day, and he insulted me for being vegan. You know, I had a
no
bad experience.
no. I debate. I've debated many vegans, tens or
How many
maybe
have you debated?
yeah, I would say 10,
But
maybe.
here's the thing. Why does that matter? You're talking to one right now. I haven't been
You've
disrespectful
debated
Saying,
to you,
10.
so
I'm
why
I'm
don't we
saying
sorry.
have a debate?
Wait. So you've debated 10 vegans, and that allows you to make an assumption on the entirety of the vegan movement.
no. I've debated tens, and you cut me off.
10. So what?
You're still
50?
cutting me off. So
50
you're
vegans.
still cutting me off. Please let me finish.
No, I'm not
Oh
cutting you
boy.
off. I'm trying to get an answer, and every time I get the answer or you talk, you refuse to answer it, so I reiterate it so I can get the answer I'm looking for, and then you claim I'm cutting you off.
Okay, stop.
Oh my God.
All right. Like you're not letting me finish sentences. I don't know, like I don't know what to do with you. So it's gonna and
You're
there's
not answering questions.
you're cutting me off mid sentence multiple times in a row as I'm asking you to please stop cutting me off mid sentence. I don't know what to do. Tell me what
That's
to
not
do.
what's happening. You refuse to answer questions,
I'm trying.
and when I ask you to re-answer, no, because the way you're not answering the questions.
You're not
You're
letting
going
me.
off on a rant about
You're
something
not
different, and I'm
letting
just
me
trying to.
talk. You're cutting me
I'm
off.
just trying because you go off on a rant about something that's not relevant to the question I asked when I'm trying to get the specifics of the question, and you go off. So I bring you back and I say, hey, can you just answer this question? I'm not asking about that. I just want an answer to this.
Okay, you
It's
know
that
what?
simple.
Meiho Nishizumi.
Let me guess. You're going to kick me because you don't like the fact that I'm pointing out that your argument.
Mayho, do you want to jump in a different chat? Because I'd be interested to discuss with you, man. I just don't think we're gonna get anywhere here. I don't think he really wants to talk.
I was going to offer Bipedal Ape to talk one-on-one, and later Meiho, you can be next in line. I'd rather do it one-on-one.
I'm going to be 100% with you. I don't think there's much we can discuss about with the way that I've been listening to you right now.
Yeah, I agree.
When your entire argument is they are evil because they're terrorists, because I've had a few, like tens of debates with them, and all they've done is some of them have been mean to me, which is what I consider personally mean. And
Okay, he's making too much noise. Okay, Bipedal Ape, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, that'd be fine. Otherwise, it's up to you. So I can go back to
I
talking.
mean,
Yeah.
there's just not much of a like. I don't get it. We're not really having much of a conversation here, man. And anybody who's trying to actually engage with you or have a conversation, you're just getting offended by them, silencing them. Like it doesn't leave anywhere to go. It doesn't leave us anywhere to go.
Okay, it's up to you.
We're trying here with you.
It's up to you, but I'd rather try one-on-one because two-on-one is a complete waste of my time.
Well, I doubt that person is even a vegan. They're not even. It's not a 2-on-1. I don't think that he even aligns with my ideology or the arguments I would make. But it's more of just the manner in which the conversation's being had and the way you're leading it. That's the fundamentally flawed part we're running into here, and that person's just trying to point that out to you so we can have a constructive conversation.
I'm sorry. What did you say? I was reading his comment.
Let's see what he said.
He said, "Imagine."
Yeah. Mayho, I don't know, man. Why don't you unmute him and instead let me and him talk? Because we're ideologically different, but we could probably have a constructive convo that you might benefit from hearing. Like you could hear a vegan talk to somebody else in a constructive way, and then maybe that would be useful to you.
No.
Okay, I don't know. Mayho, I used to be a meat eater and a hunter as well. I come from the South, so we could probably have a pretty interesting convo on that if you want to connect at some point.
Okay, so Bipedal, if you want to talk, I'm here. Otherwise, Ryuk, do you want to continue our conversation about the Middle East? Bipedal, it's up to you. It's your decision.
I just don't know what we talk about, man. I've tried to speak with you.
Look, I'm curious in deprogramming cult members, especially vegans.
Yeah, but you're starting with the premise veganism is a cult, and you're not seeing where you yourself are problematic in these conversations.
But
you're starting with already flawed premises, and then you're trying to force them into reality.
Let me just finish. So I'm interested in deprogramming cult members such as vegans, but also Nazis and the rest of them, and flat earthers, like anyone.
But you're not having the combo in good faith. If you're already starting with the premise that veganism's a cult, and then you're putting that next to like Nazism as a cult, you have to understand you're already out the gates starting with a flawed premise. You can't possibly have any kind of intellectual or constructive conversation.
Okay, Mayhwa, I unmuted you. Please let me go one-on-one with a.
No. I'm just going to say one thing. You want to stop Nazis? You know what Nazis do? They silence people who disagree with them and have different opinions to them.
Okay, yeah. Nazis also wear underwear, so I'm not going to stop wearing underwear.
Okay,
You're
but there's a
missing the point
difference.
he's making. The point he's making is it's. I don't know how to get through this guy, guys.
I've
Okay.
just given up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
I mean, I'm interested in having the conversation though, because I want to talk about veganism, especially to people like
Well-
you, Mayho. That I think we could have constructive convos. It's just this
I mean,
guy.
I see both sides because I do see where veganism comes from, but
Yeah.
because I've had a lot of debates with this.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Ape and Mayho, if you want to talk to each other, please leave. So, Bipedal, if you want to stay and talk to me, you're welcome. If you want to talk to Mayho, please leave. Like,
I mean, I'll give it one more shot with you if you want to ask a question or have a constructive conversation.
sure. And Mayho, you can be next. If you want me to unmute you, don't start another conversation. Okay, fine. Thank
Wait,
you.
can
Mayho.
I just ask, Mr. Slave, what is the issue here with them?
They're talking to each
What do you find
other. I'm not in this room to listen.
No, before that.
What do you mean? Why I muted
I
Mayho?
mean, they were trying to answer questions. They were trying to listen to you, and then they were responding to clarify.
It's
Like
two
things
on,
that you've said or missaid.
it's 2-on-1. It became impossible. 1-on-1 is difficult enough. 2-on-1
Okay,
is
you want to have a one-on-one.
yeah. Yeah, I gave it a
Okay,
shot.
I mean,
Like
that's up to
I
you.
always try to stay away from anything but 1-on-1, but it always gets derailed. It's impossible. So, but I gave it a
But
shot.
what were they doing that was terror? But I don't understand. What were they doing that was terrorizing to you?
I'm not saying what they did necessarily was terrorizing. I'm saying 2-on-1 or anything but look, 1-on-1.
Okay, fine. I think I understand. It's too much for you when it's like two of them.
1-on-1
Involved.
is almost it's always it's difficult enough to have a 1-on-1 quietly is difficult enough. 2-on-1 is I don't think it's possible. Maybe a little bit,
I mean, we can try. We can try different methods. I mean, if they're up for it, one-on-one.
Yeah, I mean
guess-
but that guy's not even vegan. Mayho's not
I
vegan, so it's
know.
not a
Yeah, I
2-on-1.
know.
I know. No, it's 2-on-1 because both of you were talking to me. Look, bipedal. Let's have a conversation, and Meho can be next if he wants to. If he doesn't want to, everything. I'm fine any which way he wants. You want to go with him, you can go with him.
No, I just think Mayho could add a lot of like value to the conversation. It
But
doesn't have to be a 2-on-1.
there
I think
is-
Mayho wants
Yeah, I
that
mean-
too.
But
How about if you guys just all try and like respect each other's time and when they speak, and when they finish speaking,
Impossible.
then the next person can.
impossible?
Yeah, we could do that.
Impossible because
Come on, Mr. Slave. Come on.
even
It's possible.
Ape alone took up 80 to 90 to 99% of the time of the mic. So both of them together.
Yeah, he was trying to explain. He was trying to explain to you in detail what's wrong with that.
I know. That's bad enough because I kept asking him to stop explaining and stop repeating.
Okay, would you rather? Is it too much for you? Maybe it's all too much. Like together, it's
What do you mean? I don't know what
it's
that
difficult
means.
to process.
It's no.
Maybe it's difficult to process.
No. Like Ape himself was repeating himself multiple times and I couldn't get him to stop repeating himself. And he cut me off multiple times. I couldn't get him to stop. So 2 people against 1? It's a waste of time. I don't want to completely.
Okay, let's restart. Let's try and do the one-on-one
Yeah.
and be conscious of each other and see if that works.
Okay. Bipedal Ape, do you want to continue?
Yeah. I mean, I'm down with having a respectful, constructive convo. And again, I would just say I think Mayho could add a lot of value to the convo. I think they can be respectful and want to be.
He
If
is.
you just unmute them, we just talk one at a time.
I gave him multiple. I don't want 2-on-1. That's please.
No,
I'm
I
not
don't think he wants to
interested.
2-on-1 you, man. He's not even on the same side as me. He doesn't want to 2-on-1 you. We all just want to have a conversation.
I'm not interested
talk
in
and
a
listen.
3-way. I'm not interested. So if you want a 3-way, please. I gave it a shot. For me, this was a very frustrating situation. Look, it's frustrating enough to talk to you, Bipedal Ape, alone. And it would probably be just as frustrating to talk to Mayho. You both think that you are incredibly much smarter and wiser than I am, and you're here to educate me. So
no, you're
it's-
straw manning. I never said that. No.
But-
Again, you're starting with a flawed premise and trying to make it work. I never
Okay.
said that. I never thought that. You can't tell me what I think or what I feel, man. I don't.
Okay.
Again, where do we go from there? If you just tell me what I think and feel, like, what's the point? I'm
Okay.
responding to something that's not even real.
Then let's start over. Let's do one-on-one. Mayho, please wait for your turn if you want. Let's go. Wait, by Peter left? Just okay. I would also. Yeah, but he left. All right. I'll unmute Mayho. Unless Don
Hey,
join.
just want to say, I don't think that I'm smart. I never said that. You just take that because clearly, I guess, something about me intimidates you. I'm going to go talk to somebody who is actually willing to allow a debate and know.
Sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry, Mayho. I'm sorry that I'm not here to just be endlessly thinking. Oh, Ryuk left. Oh my God, Emmanuel, are you there? I am smarter. You are an idiot. Who has zero clue to debate? All right, Mayho. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so dumb. Here, I'll unmute you. Yes, Mayho, you're now alone. We're alone here.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not talking to you. You're a fucking retard.
Okay. Wow, incredible. Conversations on Discord, like you think maybe there is hope that it will not absolutely blow up. No, hopeless. It's like you do your best to you just do your best and it never works out. It's always hopeless. This guy's always getting undressed. Oh my God. Yeah, it's a very dangerous group to have around. Okay. Let's see. Wait, did I? No, I didn't leave. Okay, so we can come back. So I was listening. Let's see what's going on here. No, not this. This is fine. Oh, 3 people watching. So maybe it wasn't that boring after all. Okay, so. Yeah, I was listening to this guy.
Okay.
What's going on? Ryuk. Veganism. And politics and religion. Let me see. Veganism. I guess it's this. It's an evergreen room or something. Muslim, Christianity. Oh, they created their own group. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not interested. No thanks. I'd rather bleach my eyes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue. Let's see what he says.
These processes are slowed by an ether wind blowing through.
So I guess I could make a timestamp with this. So at 1:24:46, 1:24:46, continuing. That's not how you spell continuing. Continuing to watch Inductica. Okay. What's that noise? You know how sometimes you tap your desk and it makes noise, but then you try to recreate the noise by tapping your desk intentionally, and you can't recreate that like vibration noise. Really weird.
The object. Why? Here is a crude lovely caused by some kind of internal process within the electron waviness. Okay? These processes are slowed by an ether wind blowing through the object. Why? Here is a crude but powerful hypothesis as to why. The reason is because these processes of change are essentially some kind of wave moving back and forth to some degree within the object. So there's something moving back and forth within the electron wave. And when it goes up,
Oh, he's calling this the electron, and this is the electron waviness. So the electron is a wave. So this is incorrect. There is no electron and some waviness inside the electron. The electron is a wave in the ether. The electron is composed of ether. Everything is composed of ether. Reality, what we call reality, is the ether. Yeah.
Wind, it slows down. And when it goes downwind,
it's not wind, it's a fluid. We are all waving in the fluid of the ether.
Speeds up. And the overall effect, if you add both of these effects, it ends up slowing down the transit overall. I made a lot of videos explaining how we know there's an ether, but what exactly is the ether? This video is the first in a 3-part series where I will present some hypotheses about what the nature of the ether might actually be. Keep in mind that much of what I talk about here is just hypothesis, and since this meeting was given extemporaneously, my formulations are not very precise. But in these 3 videos, I give some very important thoughts about contemporary.
So this is extemporaneous? Wow.
Physics in general, and some very promising suggestions for how we might proceed. 2 of my star students, Ridvik and Arshad, asked very good questions, so I think you'll find the conversation stimulating. So I'm going to tell you guys about my hypotheses of the ether. First, I'm going to show you hypothesis about the nature of the ether that kind of a lot of people are working on right now, including Henry Lindner and Chantal Roth. And these are modern physicists who I hold in high regard. And mostly because they really think there's an ether. They think there's an ether for the right kinds of philosophical reasons.
Okay, let's see. Henry Widler ether. Ether mythology. Physics. I wish he gave us links to these guys. We discussed a hypothesis about how the ether gives rise to gravitation. Inertia. No. Inertia is the Higgs. The Higgs is an elementary. What is the Higgs? Well, the Higgs is a mechanism. So elementary particles already solved inertia. You don't need to resolve problems. So I try doing that. You don't need to. So Higgs already gives us rest mass, which is inertia. And even space itself. No. The ether flows in space. The ether exists in space. You don't get... I don't think so. So this is incorrect. But what is correct is quantum mechanics I think he mentions the particle wave duality is resolved. Everything, dark energy, he didn't mention, but dark energy is resolved, gravitation is resolved, but inertia you don't need to resolve, and space you don't resolve it using the ether. For tutoring, watch this video for a breakdown of the ether and how we know there is one. Interesting that it doesn't come up. Okay, but I think I've watched it. The biggest question, yes. We discuss a hypothesis described in this video, the river model of general relativity. Yeah, that's from Dialect. Yeah, very good videos. Ex Inductica. I should have that. How this content was made. Audio tracks. Wait, 2 comments? I only saw 1. Well, that's not fair. I want to read that. So send me, I mean, there's no way I can share it. Okay, I'll link it in my video. I'm doing a response video to this video. Link to my Google Drive folder in the bio of that video. Sorry, I cannot link to it here. YouTube blocks links. Yeah. I'll give it the same name. My video has the name of this video in it. Okay. So now in my video, I'm going to do this. Debates with vegans. My video response. Oh, really? Okay. 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 So the link to my Google Drive, is this my drive? Is this my drive? Is this my drive? I don't have a link to that. So I need to stop streaming. If I just click the X, it stops streaming. Let me see. Yes. So now I can open the Google Drive. Okay, it's fine. Now I can restart streaming. So here's the stream. And now here's the drive. And all we need is the published papers, the ready papers. I'll just take, there's no copy link. Copy link. And description, I'll add this. Right? There's no. Can I make a short link? What do you call the short links? How to create a short link. Tiny URL. I probably need to sign in, so let me again stop streaming. Long link here. Enter alias Mr. Slave 41 Drive. Is it MR Slave 41? Let me check. I think it's MR Slave 41. MR Slave 41, yeah. Okay, so MR Slave 41, shorten URL. Good. So copy. And now I want to go. Let me try and go directly to Rob. Email. Interviews on my days on Star Trek. If you want to see way more content. This guy used to be an actor on Star Trek. If you want. Really? Please stop by Instagram ArtStation pages for much more extensive. Okay, let me traffic light. Let me send him an email. Cars, car. That's a bus. Oh, this is also a car. I am not a robot. Submit. Okay, so open Gmail using Brave. Yeah. Okay, let's copy email. Let me try and send him an email. Yeah. Hello. Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. So. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Right. I mean, we got into a rabbit hole of does freedom, like, do people. So you're asking, do people really know what's best for them? Right. So, I mean, right. The question is, do you know what's best for me? Do I know what's best for you? So I would pose that whether I know or don't know what's best for you, you certainly know better than me what's best for you. And yeah, 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 but again, you would need freedom for that and First Amendment, and you need the Second Amendment to protect the First Amendment. You need to be free to. Hello, Candle. So No. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like if I ran the world, yeah, 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 I think so. Look, look, so it's a different question. We can get into it, but look, the dictatorship can do whatever they want. I mean, they can give you as much freedom as they feel comfortable. What happens, like in China, they give people freedom, and then people upload, let's say, videos of police brutality, and the dictator is uncomfortable. He says, "This is going to. It's important for people to know that there is police brutality." But unfortunately, we've seen what happens in the USA, how these things get blown way out of proportion and cities burn down and people it's a nightmare. So we'd rather have a little bit of police brutality and people not know about it than have maybe less police brutality. We don't even know if it's going to end up as less or more. We feel that in the United States maybe there's actually more police brutality. So yeah, yeah. China is a good example of prosperity. But it's look, the freedom is not the end goal. I honestly don't care so much about the freedom. Not so much. I don't I don't care so much. If you ask me if I care so much about look, I don't have like in the West, we don't have perfect freedom. I can't say, right? So there's always some limitation. So the question is, you always yeah, I mean there's always a give and take. There's always a negotiation, something for something. You're gonna lose something to gain something else, there's no free lunches. So you might have more freedom to call Trump an idiot, but you don't have as much freedom to build a skyscraper on your 1 acre piece of land. And for me, it's actually by far more important to have economic freedom than speech freedom. Speech freedom it's like it's not that no, nothing to do with money. Well, it's got nothing to do with money. Like most people cannot afford to build a skyscraper. Most people, they usually what you do when you want to build a skyscraper, you put no, it doesn't cost. No, no, that doesn't cost anything. So usually, if you have let's say you have a 1 acre or like a 1 acre piece of land that you want to build a skyscraper on, right? So you don't. Right. So let's say I'd rather have a country in which you don't need to get permission. You want to build, build. I don't care. If it falls on somebody, I would say a country that I would run would allow it. Okay, I didn't say it does. I'm saying nothing to do with money. It usually has nothing to do with money. The problem is that in the West, they usually don't allow building, period, end of discussion. They simply don't allow building. This is why you have homelessness. No, no. No. In most of the West, you simply cannot build. Most of the lands in the United States belong to the federal government, and it's illegal to build anything on it. It's probably illegal to even be there. It's illegal to fish. It's illegal to do anything, to hunt. Everything is illegal. I don't know why. Look, I look. It's like asking me why does the word chair? Why is that the word we use to describe a chair? Why? Why is that? We don't know. We don't know why words evolve, and we don't know why legal systems evolve, and we don't know why most of the United States you can't do anything. That's like saying the word chair evolved for a reason, right? You can trace the etymology, how it evolved, because it evolved from this, from that, and this and that. Yeah, but that's not a reason. That's just it evolved. If you call that reason, fine. But that's yeah, you could trace it back to the Big Bang, like everything else. The reason why there is a star at the center of the solar system is the same as why we use chair for chairs and why most of the land in the United States cannot be used legally. I mean, the government is not selling. The government is the federal government is not selling land, even though the federal government is in a incredible debt, and they could sell all the land and probably cover the debt, but they don't want to sell the land. And not only that, they could, and it's Trump. Trump could sell it. I think Trump can sell all the federal land with an executive order. Maybe he needs Congress, but he has Congress. And Trump is a builder. But I don't think he's going to do it. He was president and he had Congress. He didn't do it. I don't think he's going to do it because even Trump, look, I'm comparing the US. Okay, I'm comparing the US to China. And I'm saying I'd rather be like China, where people can much more easily build compared to the US, where it's basically impossible to build. And the US is one of the freest countries on the planet. But China, actually, when it comes to economic freedom, I think it's way freer. And that's why China is growing. The prosperity of the average Chinese is growing 3 times as fast as the average American. So the quality of life of the Chinese, on average, if it hasn't surpassed the Americans, it's going to, and it's going to shoot way past us. And the same is going to happen to their military. Their military is going to grow, if you know exponential growth, not as far as I know. Look, you could say the same for the American government, but I don't think the Chinese government interferes. At the end of the day, the Chinese economy is growing 3 times faster than the US economy. And that's all you need to know. That's because it's freer. Chinese people, Chinese businessmen, Chinese investors, Chinese individuals, everybody in China is economically freer than Americans. So if you want quality of life, if you want prosperity, which is what I want, which is what I think everyone wants, which is the most important thing, and if you want that in the Middle East, then you have to copy successful models like, you could say, like China, but I say like Dubai. I think Dubai is, I think it grows even faster than China. The Dubai economy might grow even faster. Or you could even copy the Singaporean economy. I think even that grows faster. Um, but or even the Argentinian economy at this point. You can see how Javier Milei, he has transformed Argentina. With every passing day. Anyway, you could study. There's plenty of models and that you can copy. But my intuition is that we can test, and you don't have to use the same model for the entire Middle East. You can start by saying, okay, Gaza, let's go to Dubai. You ask the king of Dubai, the prince of Dubai, whatever, you tell him, here is Gaza, it's yours, enjoy. It's yours, take it, gift. Let's gift him Gaza. We're going to write the property on his name. It's yours, take it. Do with it whatever you did with Dubai, do to Gaza. Whatever you did to, well, I think Gaza is still owned by the Israeli government. So it would have to be the Israeli government. I'm saying if, let's say if I ran, if it's up to me, that's like, we're not asking. Look, I think if that would be done, right? If we would do it right now, then very quickly the violence will everybody will calm down and Mhm. Hmm. No, I don't believe that. I don't. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as sentiment. There's only economic. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I just don't think these things exist. It's like saying I know what. I understand. I don't think you're correct. I'm convinced. I'm absolutely convinced you're wrong. Absolutely. People only care for their quality of life, nothing else. They don't care. You do whatever you need to make me wealthy. Do whatever you do. So at the end of the day, I have a beautiful, large apartment with a beautiful view, a beautiful car with plenty of parking, a good paying job, a good job. Give me everything I need. Give me good food, restaurants, nightlife. Give me everything. You know, like I'm not saying just give me basically the freedom, right? I'm asking for a job. A job, a normal job pays for, the minimal things that I'm asking for, which is a nice apartment, a nice car. That's really insignificant. You don't need to work that hard with modern tech. You don't need to work that hard for an apartment and a car. And I don't need much else. Food is really inconsequential with today's tech. And clothes, it's like garbage. And tech is garbage today. Like it doesn't cost anything. So with minimal effort, zero, you don't need effort. Just free the people and, make sure that they're free. So you cannot allow terrorists and criminals to destabilize society. So you have to stop the indoctrination of children to hate Jews. That's critical. You have to stop the hatred. No more killing anyone, no more hatred towards anyone. Just let's talk about getting a job and being productive members of society. And that's it. And very quickly, people will be focused on what benefits them and very quickly they'll forget, and they're not going to remember that in the old days they used to hate Jews. It's like Germans today, a lot of Germans today hate the Nazis. They don't hate Jews. They hate the Nazis. They think Hitler was an idiot and a destructive force, and they think Israel is terrific. And the past doesn't matter. Who cares about the past? I care about my past. But overnight, they forgot about that. And the same happened to Japan. Overnight, it doesn't matter. You could say that most. It doesn't matter. Look, we've seen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. You can be the head of Hamas. Look, even Hamas wouldn't be Hamas without getting billions of dollars, right? These people were very well paid. So even then, yeah, 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 yeah. Look, it's a good question. So very few people know what I know. It's like it took me many years to figure it out. Very few people know that it's possible to live life and enjoy it. Most people don't know this. I mean, a lot of people who live very prosperous lives don't know why their lives are prosperous. Elon Musk doesn't know why his life is prosperous. I mean, he thinks it's because he worked hard or something, which it's true, but it's all based on freedom. I mean, if you asked Elon Musk to fix Gaza, he would he wouldn't be able. I don't think he'd be able to do it. He doesn't know the Mhm. Qataris don't they but they don't know. They think a lot of people are confused with religion. They think that they need to worship Islam, and there's a lot of confusion. People are not har- not even I'm not even saying brainwash. I'm saying even the scientists don't know. If you ask 99.99999% of the scientists on the planet how to fix Gaza, they wouldn't have a clue. They would say free Palestine. Mhm, mhm, mhm. But you don't need that's not that's not prosperity. Prosperity is not give me money. You don't get prosperity from give me money. No, no, no. There's zero correlation. I told you, freedom. You don't need anything else, just freedom. Nothing else. Let me, let me, I'll figure it out. Leave me alone. But right now in Gaza, you have a terroristic, suppressive, repressive dictatorship, totalitarian that doesn't let you do anything. You don't need to make the distinction. There is a bad government. There is a government in Gaza that thinks that it has its not even that's not true, because if you just give the people freedom very quick right now, if you ask me, so right now right now the Israeli government is transferring what is called humanitarian aid into Gaza every day. This humanitarian aid every day is captured, every truck delivered is captured by the government, and then they distribute it, they sell it to the people They take the money and they pay soldiers. so so the so so the Israeli government right now is posturing, is still holding up this terroristic government. Really, what you need to do is you need to stop all intervention. Like, you have to live your life on your own. Like, no more humanitarian aid, because this humanitarian aid is still creating a distortion. Anyway, I would say give yeah, look, you have to control, you have to govern Gaza. You can't just deliver trucks, which is basically funding the government. You can't continue funding the government because you're creating a distortion. That's, you can't. You need to fund maybe a new government, but even that's not a good idea. You need to just give it to Dubai, give it to the king of Dubai. He'll figure it out. Would you the trucks that are being delivered right now, they cannot go to a repressive regime that is taking the freedom away from the people. Yeah, but right, but not through the government, because this government is inorganic. It needs to go to the king of Dubai. The king of Dubai, he has to sell it directly to the people. No more. The government has to be. Mhm. I don't know how exactly he would do it. No, he wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I were the king of Dubai, if I would have to deal with Gaza, look. So you saw we had two people that came into the room before, and I couldn't manage. It's my room. I can control it, and I just wanted to talk to two people. I couldn't. They were unmanageable, and it became impossible. And even with one of them, it was impossible. So look, you can't just take any person and deal with him. Sometimes you have to mute people, silence people, and sometimes you have to execute people. I'm the last person to want to execute, but you right now the government is killing people. Let's say there's people in Gaza, there's actual stories on YouTube I've seen of people of Gaza who speak for Israel or speak against the government, or they just they get executed. So that's a problem. We can't have that. I mean, if the government was like a capitalistic, like a Chinese style government, fine, okay, but at the end of the day they give freedom. But the current government doesn't give economic freedom to the people. The people are not able to build whatever they want wherever they want. There's no the economy is not functioning properly. Anyway, so I would, if you look, there's Hamas didn't form. Didn't, we know it didn't form organically. It was created artificially by the Israeli government. It should have collapsed. It was funded. And Hamas, but the Israeli government should not have been involved. The Israeli government can barely put its pants on. These are not economists. We know the reason. We know everything. These are not, these are government bureaucrats. These are government officials. You know how smart government bureaucrats are. Hamas would have collapsed. That's why they kept funding a more organic government that doesn't drive itself bankrupt would have risen. A more functional government would have arisen and replaced Hamas without a single shot. Because the Hamas government was going bankrupt and it would have just disappeared. And the Israeli government was worried that the Hamas government. What? I'm telling you what I know. I mean, this is what I know. The Israeli government was mortified that the Hamas government is running out of money because they're so corrupt and so dysfunctional. They're going to run out of money. They're going to collapse. And a worse government is going to rise up and is going to be even worse for Israel than the current government. That's one option. Another option is that another government, which is actually better for Israel, would have come up. And that's actually. Mhm. Yeah, okay, we know. Right. In economics, we say something, it's called unexpected consequences or something. Look, government is incredibly big and powerful. So the tiniest mistake a government makes can end in disastrous consequences. And that's basically the Hamas and the of course not. The problem, of course not. You see, Israel, the first mistake was, look, you can compare Gaza to the West Bank, right? Gaza and the West Bank used to be the same. But you see, today, what? You see, today, Gaza is waging war against Israel. West Bank, not so much. You barely hear of any issues from the West Bank. It's not perfectly quiet, but it's not as bad as Gaza. But they used to be every time they used to talk about the West Bank, they used to also talk about Gaza. Like Gaza and the West Bank used to be the same issue. What happened to Gaza that it became a warring state, but the West Bank, you barely hear about it? Well, what happened? Why did Gaza deteriorate into a terrorist state neighboring Israel? Well, what happened? How did this happen? Actually, no. It used to be exactly. And it used to be obviously not as bad as it is since it's not troops. They used to have Jewish settlements there. Jews and Arabs used to live side by side and everything was much better. It wasn't perfect. The West Bank is not perfect. New York is not perfect. Dubai is not perfect. Shanghai is not, there's no such thing as perfect doesn't exist. I'm not looking for perfect. But it used to be a million times better in Gaza when Jews and Arabs lived together. If given enough time, Jews and Arabs will intermarry and will become one people. Just like the United States, the Italians and the Irish and the blacks and the Muslims and the Jews, they all intermarry. They're all becoming one soup. That's the normal thing in a no, no, it's the next generation. You don't need millions of years. The next generation, look, you need to let people figure it out. You need to give them freedom. People figure things out. You have to so- yes, but you have to do two things. When you're under attack, you have to do two things simultaneously. First, defend yourself. Second, analyze why are you being attacked? What's going on? And you have to do both. So of course you have to right away maybe kill whoever is attacking you. Okay, but that's because it's your fault that you got to a point that you have to kill your enemy. You should never be there. Never you should it's your fault that the day before somebody tried to kill you, you didn't see it coming. And you didn't exactly. But no, but the point is, no one should hate you. There should be no hatred between the people. No, no, no. So I'm saying, okay, okay, but look, when you're in power, your job is to make sure everyone is prosperous. Prosperous people intermarry. They don't care about religion, schmeligion, religion. They don't care. They don't care. They all marry each other and live in peace. That's America, basically. China, by the way, it's like 1,000 tribes. It's just the same. China is a conglomerate. Russia is the same. Russia is correct. 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 The Israelis created a zoo, and when the zoo was breached, they were surprised that the zoo animals behave like animals after they treated them like animals. Look, you treat people like animals, you put a fence. When they breach the fence, they come to kill you. You treat them like murderous animals. Okay, what then that's what's of course. Israel should Israel should so what happened was there was a prime minister, his name was Sharon, maybe you've heard of him. And for some reason he decided to do this, to remove all Jewish settlements from Gaza and pull out of Gaza, destroy any Jewish settlement, and give the Gaza to Gazans. That was his decision. And basically, overnight, Gaza started bombing Israel with rockets. So this was a creation of a. He was the previous head of the Likud party in Israel. This Sharon guy. Yeah, but Israel didn't. Israel right away created the Hamas government that became fascistic, and Israel created this complete mess and just made it worse and worse. Like everything Israel did in this case, Israel shot itself in the foot, and then in the stomach, and then in the head, and then cried, look what happened to me. It's like, no, of course not. Of course, you see the West Bank, there's no issue in the West Bank. There's no issue. There's many Palestinians that live in. There's issues in I don't know if you've been to New York City. New York City is also dangerous. Shanghai is dangerous. Hong Kong is dangerous. There's no such place that is not dangerous. Every place has its issues. I'm not looking for perfect. I'm looking for it used to be better, now it's worse. Who did it? That's who did it. That's and he's guilty. So in this case, as far as I can tell, it's one person. He did it actually anti-democratically. He was elected as a right wing. He was the head of the Likud. He was elected as a right wing government, but he behaved like the ultimate left wing. So what he did, he betrayed his voters. And the reason that he did it, I would say most likely, is because he was corrupt and he was afraid of the courts, and he knew the courts are very left wing, and the only way they would leave him alone is if he would create a separate Gaza. A separate Gaza would have become Hong Kong, would have become Dubai. But unfortunately, Israel kept sending money to to the terroristic government and and created a terroristic state. So I think the reason is, I think because maybe, maybe it's because Israel didn't want a Dubai in Gaza, because a Dubai Gaza deserves independence, but a fascistic Hamas Gaza, of course, does not deserve independence, and Israel was afraid of the independence. So maybe they wanted to create a terroristic state. Maybe they said, actually, it's good to have an enemy instead of a friend, because I don't need to give the enemy his own country. A friend, I have. Everybody's going to say, okay, why aren't you giving Gaza independence? It's Dubai. And also, if Gaza became Dubai, then Netanyahu would look terrible. Imagine Gaza becomes Dubai and becomes more prosperous than Israel. It's going to make the Jews look like idiots. So the Jews have a vested interest to make Gaza look bad. The Jews want to destroy Gaza just in order not to look bad. They would rather. Yeah, they didn't expect October 7th. October 7th was really unexpected. But they were being shelled. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're making noise. What are you saying? They knew they had the plans. A year earlier, they received the plans. They knew they were planning. They didn't think it's possible to implement. It looked way too complicated, but they didn't know that the Iranians were behind this, like a real government, and the Iranians are very smart people. So, look, this was a professional. That's why the Iranians wanted to stop it. The Iranians are trying. The Iranians are Shiite, and they don't want to be secluded, right? There's very few Shiite, and the Iranians don't want a Sunni coalition. And Israel with Saudi Arabia and I think Qatar, and then the Emirates, and Jordan and Egypt. Like, this is all Sunni, and Iran didn't like it. So Iran was looking always for ways to destabilize the region. And on the eve of the peace treaty with Saudi Arabia, that's when Hamas decided to do October 7th. October 7th was just before the peace treaty between Israel and Saudi Arabia, and they managed to stop it. So it got the job done. And now Iran, I don't know if Iran is happier at the current situation, but, at least there's no peace treaty. And Saudi Arabia is, yeah, uh, I wouldn't say needed, but there is enough of an advantage that, right, the Iranians don't want to be left out. The Iranians always feel left out because they are Shiite non-Arab Muslims. They're like the weirdest animal in the Middle East. That's how they have inferiority complex, I would say. And people with inferiority complex are very dangerous. Maybe that's the reason. Who knows? Plus, that's probably the reason. Of course, of course. And a prosperous region would be less religious. People who are prosperous forget about religion. It would have it would have been of benefit to everyone except for the leaders. The elites don't want the people to be prosperous. Prosperous people are of no use to the elites. The elites enjoy being prosperous, but they enjoy being elites. If the people become prosperous, then the elites lose being elites. The elite, like, if imagine you were the elite of Iran. You don't have to be that rich, but you are above the rest. You are the 1%. Now, if everybody becomes prosperous, yeah, that means they're going to be you're going to be prosperous. Everybody will be prosperous, but everybody will be equal. Prosperous society are more equal. Everybody has everything. Not for the elites. Not for exactly. Exactly. They don't care. They don't care. The elites are always protected in their gated communities. The elites don't suffer from the conflict. The elites are always right. You see the leader of Syria, even after the country was completely destroyed, he didn't get hurt, and basically no one died. So everything is fine. So not. mm, I don't know. Statistically speaking, I don't know if that's true because democratic leaders only have a few years, and and that's the exception. Of course, I'm saying that's the exception. The rule is that they die in peace. Stalin died. You could say Hitler died. Mussolini, I think, was executed, but Stalin died in peace. Pol Pot died in peace. Mao Zedong died in peace. Che Guevara died being killed. I don't know, but you can be a. It depends. Like I don't think the leader of Dubai it's ever going to catch up with him. I don't think he's being a totalitarian. Like exactly, I'm saying you look. You don't have. You can be an elite, but he's the type that he doesn't care that everybody becomes wealthy. Like there's many people inside Dubai who are wealthier than the king of Dubai, but he doesn't care. But you have to give up your ego, and it's not easy. it's not so simple. A lot of dictators, like North Korea, he prefers the people to literally eat bugs and starve to death and live very, very difficult lives. And that's the way he wants to live. That's the way he's comfortable living. China, Xi Jinping, he doesn't need the people to starve. He came up with a different model that the people are actually very prosperous. But anyway, there's different models. So the way the Iranians, their model is, it's their choice. It's maybe it's because of their religion. I don't know. No, because North Korea is the same model as Iran. Hmm. Hmm. Right. They're not. They're not. They're not Muslims. And yeah, yeah. They have a different religion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you see that the regime is very strong. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to fall. It could fall like Syria. Within 2 seconds, it could collapse. Who knows? Maybe Trump will bring it down. I don't think so. I don't think so. No, very unlikely. Even though they tried to kill him, maybe he's planning to kill them. Maybe the first thing he'll do is right, right. Okay, look, you yeah, you got to do something. The first thing you need to do is you have to stop their nuclear aspirations. You have to kill it. You have to destroy their nuclear facilities. Because once they become nuclear, they're unstoppable, like North Korea. So the U.S. It's right. No, I mean you just need to let Israel do it. I mean the U.S. can tell Israel to do it, or Israel can, or even the US can also do it. I mean the trick is to use stealth. You go in, you clean all the SAM batteries, the surface to air. You No, stealth, no, stealth bombers and stealth fighters. No boots on the ground. You don't want. So no, we know. No, we know everything. It's just that they built everything inside a mountain. They built it in a mountain. So the Israelis could use actually a nuclear bomb to destroy it without, with minimal, damage to the region, because it's like in a mountain in the middle of nowhere. So you use a hydrogen bomb or something to completely destroy the place. So that's it. You, I don't think it's gonna. The, look, I don't think it's a good idea to let the Americans do it. The Americans, if they do something, then Russia could get spooked, and you have Third World War. But if Israel does it, then the Americans can tell Russia, listen, look, you can't say no. You can't. You can't say that about a nuclear. Um, superpower. So Russia is a nuclear superpower. So you can't look if put look, so this thing needs to be coordinated. You need to give Putin assurances. We're not going to do anything to you. You can stay in power. Maybe give him something. Maybe tell him, you can keep. Come to some agreement. Come to some agreement. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's anyway. Anyway, you do it. Um, you want to negotiate. You want to do it. You want to try and keep everybody calm so nobody presses the button. So everybody has to feel comfortable. And I would look if Putin feels that you know if he gets spooked, he might. You don't. I don't know. I don't know. Right. Right. No, but right. Yeah, I think Iran is his partner, and he has no. I mean, no. He has partners that he takes care of, and he knows he has agreements, and he has coalitions, and he takes care of his coalitions. He knows how to build and maintain coalitions. Um, I don't know. Yeah, the first thing that needs to happen is to stop Iran's nuclear armament. After that, you yeah you need to make as much peace in the region, make as many agreements, and as much as you could use Americans. Yeah, right. The Iranians might attack the Saudi oil. So you might need to also continue attacking the Iranians, all their military installations. Completely destroy all the Iranian military installations. Just keep bombing and bombing and bombing until the Iranians have no more military power, so they cannot attack the Saudi oil. Yeah, I mean, you gotta let them know. Listen, don't worry about it. We're not coming after you. I look. Trump is not brave, unfortunately. Yeah, but Ukraine is not going to be so happy. It's a problem to let Putin conquer because after this he's going to conquer the rest of Europe, and then you have what are you going to do then? You can't just. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. Trump. Look, I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know. There's too many unknowns for me. So I can tell you what to do. I would no. I would say no. It's not. Who cares? No, no, no. Russia has to retreat. No, from everything. Russia has to. Okay, then maybe it's time to end the planet. Look, no, it's not. No, no, no. You can't say who cares. What? No, I don't. No, 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 no. It's uh, it's not a good idea. Look, everybody has to live in peace together, or everybody dies. That's my rule. We all live in peace together. I don't. Yeah, that's Russian disinformation. That's not true. No, 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 no. It's no. I actually heard a YouTube show where they explained exactly how it's done. It's not. That's not reality. That's fake. That's a fake scenario that Putin created in order for you to say what you just said. It's Russian disinformation. Look, everything you know is everything we know. I used to support Putin until not too long ago. So everything we know is disinformation. And look, we have to be serious. So the motto has to be everybody lives together in peace or everybody dies. And everybody can make that decision. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to live as the slaves, as Putin's slaves. We're going to either all die or all live in peace. I don't think Trump has to demand. Trump has to give Ukraine a bunch of F-35s and weapons. By the way, enough giving. Like, we don't need to give Ukraine. Like, America can buy lands from Ukraine, or America can invite Ukraine to become the 51st state. That's what I would offer Ukraine. No, you can laugh. What do you mean? What do you mean? There's no tension. It's none of his business. He's not the owner. No, I don't care. I don't care. Fine, then it's the end of the world. Look, we're not. No, no. Look, we're not threatening Putin. I'm not threatening Putin. I don't care. Putin can live his life comfortably, but if he wants to destroy the world, then the world would be destroyed. It's up. Look, it's up to him. Putin is a very wealthy guy. He can live. He can choose the path of Sinwar or the path of I don't know, somebody else, not Sinwar. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, of course, the U.S. should try and eliminate Putin. Of course, that goes. I, It doesn't matter. I mean, whoever it is, if they misbehave, we should take them out as well. America has to take over the planet. America should go. Look, we tried colonialism, then we tried without colonialism. We see that we have to go back to colonialism. Now you know why the world used to like colonialism. We need to go back to colonialism. We need to offer, look, Ukraine, you want our protection and you want F-35s and you want weapons. Like, you want billions and billions of dollars, all of that as a gift. So here's the deal. You can join and get our protection, or you can deal with Putin yourself. It's up to you. And that's it. I think the Ukrainians would love to join the US. And I think the US would love for Ukraine to join the US. And if I don't think there's no reason for Putin to object. It's not like the US is belligerent. Yeah. So there you go. So the Ukrainians want, the US wants, EU will want. This is good for the EU. It is good for everyone. It's actually good for Putin too, but Putin is a little bit cuckoo. So Putin is going to, but it's not bad for Putin. In what? Because I mean, that's like saying because we're going. America will bring prosperity to the region. It's good for Putin. But Putin is crazy. The problem is that Putin is what we call no, no. Putin is a mystic. Putin believes in Jesus and religion and history and Mother Russia. He, yeah, a lot. I think he believes in all the nonsense. Yeah, that's still, if you're a nationalist, that's still an illness. Like, you should be like me. You should be a, yeah. No, no, no. I think, yeah, yeah. I think, of course. Look, in general, people don't lie. Yes, of course. No. In general, of course not. In general, I believe people. People in general don't lie. In general, like mm, it doesn't matter. Even politicians don't lie. Most people don't lie. It's very difficult to lie. Most people don't lie. I don't think I've ever met anyone who lied. People don't lie. People might do weird things, like Israel, like created the Hamas, but I don't know if they knew why they were doing it. Like Israel created a terrorist state, but this is like okay. They didn't lie. I don't think it was always headline news. It was always transparent. It's not like there was no lying. No one ever lied. No one lies. People change their minds. Trump is not lying. Putin is what we call a mystic. He believes in there's something holy about the Russian Empire and the Russian history and the Russian people and the Russian land and and the Russian language. He believes it. He's a mystic. He believes this nonsense, and that make no, no. He doesn't need it. He doesn't. But you could argue that about anyone who is religious. You could argue that that is religion. Religion is just a social network. That is all that it always is. And I would agree. But no one knows that except for me. Religious people don't know that religion is just a social network. They actually, of course, of course. Like Hitler. He's yeah, they're all mystics. They're all dangerous people. Yeah. What, Hitler? No, n- no, Hitler was a mystic. Hitler believed in Deutschland über alles. Germany is above all other nations, and the Aryan people. I think he invented the Aryan people whole cloth, which is just Iranian. Like he believed in the nonsense that in the it's not. You don't even have to say religious. It's just like it's mysticism. It's pure mysticism. It's like people created religion, and Hitler created his own mythology and his own mystics, which is, it's confused with science. Racism is scientific. There's no racism in the Bible or in ancient. Racism was the science of the day. He was just being scientific about it. Anyway, so Putin is the same. And a lot of people are like that. A lot of people. I would say at least half of the people on the planet are like that. And that puts and that's very dangerous. Like the the people of Gaza, they believe that there is something special about the Arabs and the Muslims and the land of Palestine and Muhammad, and they really believe it. And and that's not good. Well, really, no one really believes anything. I mean, people really believe because they're poor. So the poverty drives them. Statistically, poverty drives belief. But right, prosperous people don't care about these things. But Putin, he is a mystic. You could say that he's very wealthy, but he feels like, well, Russia is very poor. And like the king of Dubai doesn't care about any mysticism. The king of Dubai is not a mystic. He's very practical. And that's why Dubai is always inviting everyone from around the world to come and buy apartments and start businesses in Dubai. Please come to Dubai. They're the most hospitable. They're not worrying. Yeah, yeah, right. So the king of Dubai is different than Putin. Even though the king of Dubai is a Muslim, and you could say, oh, Islam is, it's a mystical religion. Yeah, but the king of Dubai doesn't suffer from this, from this, you could say, illness, from this dysfunction. But Putin and Hamas leadership and Iranian leadership, they suffer from this mental disability, which is endangering the rest of us. Anyway, listen, let me check. I think I need to make a phone call. Let me just ask my 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 chick if she's available. Anyway, I think we solved all the world problems. I mean, I mean, in order for it to pan out, somebody needs to put what I'm saying into practice. I'm not making predictions. I'm just giving it. Yeah, yeah. My prediction is that he is he doesn't want war. He doesn't want instability. He's going to try and force peace on everyone for the short term at the price of a long term disaster. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I see he has already done. That's my intuition. So he's going to allow the Iranians to have nuclear weapons so that we have peace for a couple of years, and after that we're going to have a nuclear holocaust. Yeah. I'm waiting for her to answer, so we'll wait. When she answers, I'll maybe go, so I'm free. Anyway, so that's it. Hmm. Uh, I don't. No, I wouldn't even say that I have a goal. My goal right now is to make content on YouTube. Everything is, I'm making content. trying to grow the channel, trying to maybe speak to more influential influencers. Uh, that's and just as a pastime, and I enjoy these conversations. Like this conversation is very fruitful. Some conversations are fruitful, some conversations not so much, but hmm So my rule is only one on one with no moderation. Like anything other than one on one with no moderation is doomed to fail. Um, well, you saw maybe, but in this case, the problem was that the first guy, the mindless ape or bipedal ape. So the bipedal ape was antagonistic. Okay, sent me a message. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, I should call her. So in a few seconds, I'll call her. Let me just. No, no, I just want to finish. I just want to finish. So with so he was a little bit antagonistic. So he already and he was already taking the I would say 80% of the mic time he was taking. He barely let me speak, and he was obnoxious and violent, and he wasn't nice. I was trying to get him to calm down, and he wasn't making sense. hmm He was a little bit, a little bit. If you compare it to the way a little bit. I'm not saying I'm not saying that he was as bad as as like the worst possible, but certainly compared to you, like you are perfect. You're actually curious, and it's a very I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But with you, it's a very fruitful conversation. And that's why when you interjected, it actually stabilized the conversation. So you. Mhm. Yeah, sure. That's good. So, yeah. So, like with a guy like that, one on one is bad enough. And with the other guy, he's even worse. The Shimutsi, whatever. Shinto. Yeah. Yeah, and both. Well, the second one, the Shimuti, kept saying that he is much smarter than I am. We still see the comments. I'm smarter. You're an idiot who has zero clue how to debate. Yeah, yeah. So, w- talking me and Mr. Mahu Nishizumi one on one would be basically impossible. So So the first guy, the bipedal ape, is basically impossible, and the second guy is impossible. So a combination is absolutely out of the question. And it's nothing to do. It's nothing with knowledge. I'm trying to deprogram. You could say both of them, but certainly I'm trying to deprogram the bipedal ape. Let's see where that goes. But I didn't have a chance because Mahu didn't let me. So see, That's the problem. So and Mahu kept attacking me, and bipedal ape was becoming contaminated by Mahu's contamination. Mahu contaminated the environment. He muddied the water. He made me look like an idiot. So bipedal ape, he doesn't know any better. He thought, oh, maybe Mr. Slave is an idiot. What? Who? Who? Yeah, Maho was impolite and very nasty and demeaning and mean. Yeah, it's like that's not. And he asked me multiple times, and he silenced me, and he steamrolled me. He did everything that I don't like. So it's my. But it doesn't help me when two guys. It is a human to human. Human to human. Human to human means don't use like propositional logic and stuff like that. But Maho wasn't willing to have a human to human. He wanted to just attack me because I was to him an idiot. You see what he says? You're an idiot. To him, yeah. No, no. He really thinks I'm an idiot. So a lot of times, because I'm so mild mannered and quiet, and I'm really I think through. Then fine. I Anyway. I gotta take the call. But okay, let me make the call, and that's probably gonna take me like I don't know 10-20 minutes. I'll be back. All right. I'll see you later. All right. Bye bye. Peace. All right. Okay. I'm gonna. Oh, I didn't share the screen. Ah, it's okay. I don't think there was anything interesting on the screen. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Bye. I'll be back. Yeah.